Well, thanks for joining us in the Lair. We're here to talk, as we do every time, all things Wildcat football.
Anything you want to know, yeah.
I'm LB Graham. This is my friend and partner Luke Davis, and we're your hosts for the Lair. And the last time we talked about MICDS, and we previewed this episode that we're going to turn to Lutheran South. And when you look at last year, that Lutheran South game was quite a game.
Yes, it was.
We went there kind of expecting kind of the usual Westminster kind of dominance and spotted them a huge lead, 3 touchdowns I think it was.
It was anything but.
And it waited till the very end of the third quarter to start a comeback that was dramatic, and it was super exciting, and lots of big offensive plays mirrored by huge defensive plays.
Right.
But it was not, again, the way you want to play that game.
No, not the way you wanted. It's the way you wanted it to end. Not the majority of it really wasn't. It was a very emotional game for both sides.
Yes.
Of course, we turned out a little bit better, and we're happy for that.
So I think both teams probably been looking forward to this game. Westminster, they don't want to give up that lead. They don't want to have that, that terrible feeling of most of the game being behind by a lot. And Lutheran South, I'm sure, wants to exact some revenge. So Let's talk about this year's matchup. And then now that we're several games into the season, we're not coming blind to some of these teams. And if you start looking at South in their first 4 games, there's one name that comes up an awful lot.
Yeah, it's he is peppering the stat sheet all over the St. Louis metropolitan area, and that's Cody Schrader. The numbers are just eye-popping. 76 carries, so he's coming in about 19 lugs per game. 841 yards, that works out to 11 yards a carry. So
over 200 a game.
Over 200 a game, and that means he's getting an average of just past a first down every time he touches the ball. And that puts in a little bit of consternation for us in terms of our defensive front, those moving pieces around the front 7, and it just means that, like it or not, he's the one that we're going to have to go through to have any success on the defensive side of the ball.
And some folks from Westminster who went down to watch Burroughs play South last week basically just said, they handed it to him over and over and over. Burroughs knew it was coming, and they still really had a hard time slowing him down.
Yeah, Burroughs basically hung around long enough until there were some miscues in the fourth quarter on several areas of play. But that 35-14 score is
not
extremely deceptive.
It was 14-14 at the start of the fourth, so it was knotted pretty closely.
That's about as close of a 21-point victory as you can get.
Absolutely. Yeah. So you've done some homework and you thought about this opponent. You've got 3 keys. Tell us what you.
I think, and like we've intimated already, the first key number 1, stuff Schrader. Cody Schrader shreds defenses, and of course we're going to have to bring our A game there. This guy is everywhere on the field, not just offense, but also on defense. 56 total tackles. That is 5th in the St. Louis area in high school. So the guy's ubiquitous. He's kind of like Peter Sellers from Dr. Strangelove.
He's everywhere.
Many different roles. So our game plan is revolving around the idea having him in our sights. We've got to slow him down because if we can do that, if we can stop him on first down. Remember, first down defense was the key last week against MICDS. Yes. Throw it back, force the quarterback, and their guy, Will Bacon, he has not had to have the ball in his hands very much where the game is depending upon him. So if we can throw that back to Bacon, who has maybe 17 completions in 4 games, that's going to force the issue.
Try to make him win the game, not Schrader.
Exactly. You want to try to make them as uncomfortable as possible. Another part of the Lutheran South team that we would like to see on the heels is their defense, and so that means we need to have an offensive line surge, and that is key number 2. So part of helping out our defense is keeping them off the field.
Right.
So our mammoth, and when we say mammoth, it's the literal truth. The front 5 are combined 1,415 pounds.
Our offensive line.
Right. Going up against any defensive line, we sure have an advantage there in terms of weight throwing around. So we have to make our reads. We have to block well. Also, if you do those very fundamental things, Steve Webb has the vision and the speed to get through. Cameron Tucker, whoever else we put back there, we can have confidence because we have confidence in our offensive line. So run well, you also set up our passing weapons better, and so Lutheran South is really on their heels. And then key number 3, discipline. Both teams, we had our struggles last week in special teams
yeah.
with the not only the block punt, but
punt
also
and
the onside kick.
Yeah.
Lutheran South held on, but that fourth quarter they had a breakdown on their block punt. So there are things to work out, some kinks on both sides. So Corey Snyder for us, Chuck Fawcett, former Maryland star linebacker, the head coach for Lutheran South. We have our work cut out for us. So the key is going to be, this is 90% of the proverbial iceberg, the team that first executes their game plan well, plays sound fundamental football, and also, much like Novak Djokovic in the U.S. Open, if they don't get rattled no matter what the circumstances, then they're heading into the home stretch on Saturday, prep for victory.
So it's a winnable game. I mean,
It is.
Westminster's a great team. We've got some injuries on the defensive side of the ball, and it's unfortunate with this particular opponent. But if we can contain Schrader, if we can play our game, and like we said at the start of the year,
Right.
our coaches are really good at what they do.
Yes,
They're going to
they
have
are.
a game plan. We're excited to see this game. It should be a good one. Come out and support the team this Saturday as we take on Lutheran South. We hope to see you there.
See you then.